Welcome to the Colchester Historical Museum and Archives in Truro, Colchester County. This museum and its archives provides many clues to our past. This brief introduction will give you some insight into the place that we call home. Colchester County, established in 1835, is the central county in the province of Nova Scotia. Its population of 19,307 is spread over an area of 3,628 square kilometers, from the Northumberland Strait in the north to the Cobequid Bay in the south, from Cumberland County in the west to Halifax and Hants County in the southeast. Truro is the largest of our towns with nearly 12,000 inhabitants. Stewiacke, the only other town in the county, has a population of 1,422. The central location of Colchester County has been a key feature of our history and has influenced the lives of our people. Archaeological evidence indicates a human presence was in Colchester County over 10,000 years ago. The area we now know as Cobequid Bay was a grassy plain used by the Paleo-Indian hunters. The Mi'kmaq people, the aboriginal inhabitants of the present-day Nova Scotia, had numerous encampment sites in the county. One of their trails from the Cobequid Bay led over the hills to the Northumberland Strait. Its starting point is marked with a historical cairn on Highway No. 2, overlooking the Chigonoy River. Present-day Nova Scotia was claimed by France in the 17th century, and the region became known as Acadia. The French population was, for the most part, agricultural, using dikes and drainage methods to make marshland areas flourish. Areas of the county that were farmed by the Acadians are still diked and in production. You may see signs marking the location of some of their settlements. The first Acadians came in the late 1680s. The flag on the right is a reminder of our Acadian heritage. They continued their life and culture here even after the British conquest of most of Nova Scotia in 1713. French Acadian life and culture flourished, but the rulers were English. In 1755, 8,000 to 10,000 were removed from Nova Scotia for political and military reasons. There are still a few place names which indicate the Acadian presence, such as Debert, Portepec, and Brule. The community of Old Barns near Truro is a reflection of Acadian-built heritage. These established settlements were burned by the British in 1755. In 1761, the Irish Presbyterians came from New England and Northern Ireland. 3 townships were established: Truro, Onslow, and Londonderry. A cairn near the Salmon River by the Palliser restaurant commemorates their arrival. Earltown was settled by the Highland Scots in 1816, and in the 1850s, the first African Nova Scotians came to live in Truro. Rural development in the 19th century was typical of most Nova Scotia communities at that time. Small farms developed on the marshlands and the arable uplands. Harvesting of the extensive stands of hardwood and softwood forest resources became viable. Each village within the county was fairly self-sufficient with its own shops, churches, blacksmiths, grists, and sawmills. Communities bordering salt water exploited the worldwide demand for wooden ships. Shipyards lined the shores of the Northumberland Strait and the Cobequid Bay. In a few sites, like Tatamagouche and Carr's Brook, you may see the remains of these shipyards which supplied the wooden ships that carried cargo to all points of the compass. The town of Truro's importance as a trading centre was reinforced with a rail connection to Halifax in 1858, and then expanded to the rest of Canada in the 1870s. Later, the railway extended northeast from Truro to Cape Breton and west to the Annapolis Valley. With the coming of the railway, many new homes were built for the railway workers. The town flourished, and the period of 1875 to 1914 saw the building of many fine Victorian homes. One of the businesses established at this time still flourishes, Stanfield's Limited. The museum has brochures outlining possible walking tours of the Victorian neighborhood for anyone who wants an architectural snapshot of this period. Truro was the home of two important educational institutions. One is the Nova Scotia Agricultural College, located in Bible Hill. It began as a school of agriculture and has grown to become a degree-granting institution with involvement in many international projects. The second institution was the Normal School, a training establishment for Nova Scotia teachers. By 1875, it was housed in the very grand Victorian building near this museum. A small museum, the Little White Schoolhouse, on the grounds of the community college, has many artifacts celebrating the age of the one-room school and early public education in Nova Scotia. Today, the influence and importance of the railway has diminished. Highways have replaced the rail lines in importance, but the old patterns still remain. Truro and Colchester are considered to be the hub of Nova Scotia. Discover the lives of two remarkable women with Colchester County connections. Anna Swan, from New Annan, who was over 8 feet tall, and Elizabeth Bishop, with great village connections, who was a giant in the literary life of the 20th century North America. If you want to explore the natural history of the area, you will find walking trails and parks throughout the county. Further information, which is available at the local tourist bureau, will lead you to nature trails, aboriginal trails, and geological walks. Victoria Park, in the center of Truro, has 1,000 acres of woodland and scenic trails. At the Shubenacadie Wildlife Park, you will have the opportunity to see animals indigenous to Nova Scotia. To be truly amazed by nature, check out the surge of the tides in the Salmon River located near Truro. Here, it is possible to witness the might and the power of the Bay of Fundy tides, considered to be the highest in the world. Enjoy our museum, explore our culture, capture our exceptional scenery, and become acquainted with our parks and our history.